The parts of our lives are usually ordered, and our steps are ordered by God. And from as early as I can be able to remember, I've always had an interest in anything theatrics, if I may, right? I'm a storyteller by nature. So therefore, any medium that I can possibly use to tell or engage an audience and tell them a story, I will definitely engage them in one way or the other. So for film, right now, I can't necessarily say that I have relegated myself so much into theater. That is the experience and the opportunities that have come my way. I've only gone for one audition in my entire life. So for film, I have gone for several. I'm yet to get a breakthrough there, and until then, I will remain where I am.
So you're still hopeful.
Not necessarily that
Yeah.
theater is a bad experience. It's an
Yeah.
amazing experience at the end of the day, and there are no regrets so far. So until that time comes.
Okay. So how are people embracing this kind of production theater? When you put up plays, do people show up? Are people engaged? Are people appreciating what you guys are doing?
They do. The feedback is usually very, very positive. But one thing that I can say is that society hasn't, and most especially the Kenyan society, hasn't fully embraced theater possibly the way we would like them to experience, right? I was talking to another friend of mine who's also a director and accomplished actor, and he was telling me that about less than 1 to 5% of people in Nairobi go to theater. You understand? So if these numbers can be able to shift and possibly get to, even if it is 20%, 25%, 30%, then we can have a totally different conversation altogether, right? Kenya is at a place where it's slowly beginning to embrace this form of entertainment, this form of storytelling, and even, as a leisure activity as well. And that's where we are. And as an economy, you can't necessarily say, or rather tell people to come and watch a show and, for example, they don't have food on their table. So there are very many factors and challenges that come into play until people can actually get to a point where they can, experience a production the way it needs to.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say experience a production, take us through the process of just putting this thing into, into life. Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah. The production bit of it.
The production bit is quite an experience, right? For me, it doesn't just begin when, for example, we start rehearsal. It literally begins from the conception of a particular idea that I would want to tell an audience, right? A particular story. So I have a story, and then I get down to writing it, and then I look for people who can be able to execute it in the way that I would want. I can also go a length to, I can go to lengths to possibly look for directors and producers or people who can be able to put it all together. And then now, once I have done that, that's when now rehearsal can begin. Yeah. And the entire rehearsal process.
At times, is it difficult to find these people?
It is. Reason being, for particular productions, you see, there is that idea that you have in your head, right? And then there is a way that you would want to execute it. Sometimes our ideas can be a little bit far-fetched in our minds. So now when it gets down to actually pragmatically executing it, then you find that it is a totally different conversation. You find that perhaps someone's diction cannot be able to, marry with whatever it is that you had in mind. Possibly the costumes that you had in mind are unavailable here, in the country. Possibly the facilities that are, open to you cannot be able to accommodate whatever experience that you would want to give an audience. So all these challenges come into play, and those are the things that we try to sort out as early as possible within the production process so that we compromise as little as possible with the given production that you're doing. Yeah? Actors tend to have their own different experiences during the rehearsal process. Same case to directors as well. And once the entire process begins, each person remains separate and then later on come together so that they can be able to bring this production, to life. Yeah.
So it's already there. How do you get to now call for people to come in and just see this amazing production you guys have put together? What's that process?
Calling, actors to come
Yeah,
and,
no. The audience
or
now.
the audience
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Now that is an entirely different niche, right? That now as a producer, you need to ensure that you also, get people who are going to market your story as well as possible. So we try to write particular stories that are not so far from particular societal ills or experiences that are currently there. For example, we can let's say do a production about love during Valentine's, a production about Christmas during Christmas time. All these things tend to have they assist the marketing of the entire production as well, right? We could do a story about cancer during a period, like say for example, if it is in October, right? Just to bring awareness to people. In other words, you look for a particular need in society and then you try to address it with whatever story that you are going to tell, so that when people come to watch, already remember that earlier on we spoke and said that about 1%, 1 to 5% of people in Nairobi go to the theaters, right? So therefore we have to go out of our way and look for ways to sort of bring them in so that they can also have these experiences. And for example, would you go to a particular production that you are not relating to? You understand? So that's one of the ways that we tend to sort of like market the entire show altogether. Apart from the usual ways, print media, social media, and, all these others. That's one of the key areas and one of the key things that we try to do to ensure that people can actually be able to receive whatever content that we're making. Yeah.
So, and now what's the difference? Because it's a theater production.
That's it.
Yeah. Compared to old times and now, how is it different?
Back in the day, I would say here in Nairobi
Yeah,
more so. Back in the day, if you look at the facilities that were on offer, right? By facilities, I'm talking about the spaces where people could be able to actually go and experience theatrical productions. When it comes to things such as lighting, such as sound, they have evolved over time, and then these things have made it a little bit easier for our productions to be, to be better, professionally done, both pre-production, the production process, and even post-production